Wah, 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, I'm dizzy now. Internet! What up, Internet? Hello, Internet. How's this one not hooked up? This is supposed to be like that. There we go. All right, what's up, Internet? How you doing? What day is today? I don't even know. Oh, it's Wednesday. Hump day. Middle of the week. What up? Middle of the week. What's it going? How you doing? Let's check in on the chat. Who was first to the chat? Frank Dominguez was first to the chat. Frank Dominguez winner. First one to the chat. Once again, the attic dweller himself, Frank Dominguez. Coming in at 178,000 tons of atomic pressure. Frank Dominguez, number one again, with a bullet. If you guys can't tell, I'm jacked up on coffee today. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the live show. It's live. I'm here. It's 4:03 p.m. here in Western Washington, where I'm born and raised, where I'll spend the rest of my days for a certain amount of time until I move somewhere else. But great to be here. Great, beautiful day here in the attic, where I've been spending a lot of my time recently. And so first little thing of business before I get to the saying hello to everybody. Yesterday I said we were going to do a aquarium stand build today. No, that got pushed like this to tomorrow, mainly because out of my own idiocy, I forgot that I had a bunch of other stuff to do today before I could get to building the stand. So I didn't get to building the stand today, so tomorrow's video is today, and today's video will be tomorrow, if that makes sense. So we'll be inverted, doing a negative 4G dive with a MiG, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. In regards to that, we'll be inverted like this for Wednesday and Thursday, which it's not the worst thing in the world or anything like that, but if anybody was super stoked for the stand build, that will be coming tomorrow. And just to give a little advice and a little bit of background on why that was, I have to do a bunch of unboxing video before I can build the stand. So not to spoiler alert my own channel here, I have to do a bunch of unboxing for a brand new saw, one that has not decapitated my thumb. The lovely Vicky Toria brought Christmas early to yours truly right here. We have a brand new miter saw, which means my old miter saw will be being donated. Will be getting donated to a needy somebody out there, somebody who needs it. Recently donated my table saw to a fellow from Burien, Washington, who needed a table saw, so I donated that one to him. So the chop saw, miter saw, however you want to refer to it, will be being donated also. And I wonder if there's still blood on it or not. I don't think so. I think I got it all cleaned off, so it won't it won't be a biohazard or anything like that, if you know what I'm saying. So, but either way, the shows are inverted. So today we're actually answering some of the fan questions that have come in. One of the biggest fan questions that I get on a regular basis is about sump systems. So if anybody's interested about sumps and that kind of stuff, we're going to talk about that today, mainly because one of our community members, Ben Ireland, and I don't want to spoil it for you. He might be in the chat. He might be here. Who knows? He might show up later. Who knows? I'm haven't seen him in the chat yet, but he might be here. He might be lurking and whatnot. He sent me a wondrous email. This is pretty much exactly what I would say. This is the type of email that you really want to get from somebody. Very detailed. He even did a PDF drawing, which I will share with you guys, on how he's designing his sump and how he's going ahead on the well, I don't know what the word is, the projection of the build and stuff like that, but very detailed. And this is exactly what this is exactly the kind of email that I hope to get, and I appreciate it very much. Ben Ireland is here. There he is. So he is here. That is going to be the main fan question we're going to be answering today. Steven Skoglund I'll be answering some of Steven's questions that he sent me tomorrow, because that will have to do with some of the construction stuff. He's building his fish room, and he's been encountering some minor issues that are pretty common in building in old buildings and stuff like that. So we'll be able to help out with some of that stuff, because he's building some stub walls and doing some insulation and whatnot. And we'll just I'll be making some video stuff to help out with that. And if anybody is interested in building their own stand, I will be showing you tomorrow how to do that, because I'll be building the stand for the new I believe, so I did the measurements on it. It is 62.2 gallons. It's a super awkward size aquarium, but it is a nice looking cube. It's fantastic. Hopefully I can remember who made it, because I can't remember right now. Hopefully I can remember tomorrow, which means I gotta message out a little bit, send out some messages and go like, hey man, who made this thing? I forget. Because I'm feeling brain dead. Too much wiring, you guys. Too much electrician type work, and I start to get a little loopy, if you know what I'm saying. So I start to forget of things, because I start thinking of voltage and oh, where's this going? Where's that going? Where? Well, what's this switch? Oh, a three-way. Oh, nice. Oh, well. So I it's one of those reasons why I don't necessarily want to spend 90 hours a week doing electrician work, mainly because I get so loopy, you know what I mean? Like, doing it all the time, I start to get weirded out, and I start to lose my train of thought for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's just weird. Oh, we got a super chat from James Nisham, the one pound action, no question on it. Well, thank you very much, James, for chipping in. Speaking of chipping in, I wanted to mention real quick the Patreon. I know I've been running it into the ground, and I bet y'all probably tired of hearing of the Patreon. But the Patreon is how we're funding this thing. It's how we're funding the show. It's how the funding is going down. And we actually got 3 new patronizers just today, which is awesome. Chris versus Fish with the $1, Ivo Matthias with the $1 pledge, and just plain old Brad. It's just not Bradley, just Brad with the $1 Patreon, and Pamela Earlywine and Tesla Stuff upping both of theirs yesterday. Richard Mateo, Carl Snow, and everybody that has gone this week. This week, it's amazing. We're trying to get to 200. Our goal is to get to 200 patronizers. You know what I'm saying? So for a lot of people out there, they go, well, I don't know what the Patreon is. I don't know what it's all about. It's a site where we're basically crowdfunding, making more shows and more content and stuff like that. So that's the direction that we go here. It also builds the community, and I feel that it builds the community. There's a lot of space on there to post stuff up. You can, like, unlike in the chat on YouTube, you can post pictures and really detailed stuff of what's going on, and all that stuff. And as Douglas is saying, hey, it makes your show ad-free. I know that there's been a slight controversy in the fact that I have to play the opening ad, which sucks, but it's only like that 5-second ad at the beginning, mainly because the YouTube gets super mad if you have 000, so it won't promote anything. So we're just trying to grow it. And I have to play that stupid opening ad, and I don't like it. I don't like to have to do it, but it's the unfortunate thing. So I basically kind of polled everybody and just said, hey, what do you think? And most everybody just said, hey, play that 5-second ad at the beginning. It's not that big of a deal. But we don't have any ad breaks or any of that weird stuff in the middle where we got to get, Viagra or tampon ads or any of that nonsense, right? So luckily, we got that going. The Patreon is going awesome, and thank you very much, you guys. It's super rad. Now that we got a bunch more people in here, let's give a shout out to some of the people that are here, right? Smutsig Disc is saying, hello. He's starting to get obsessed with beating Frank. It's gonna take a lot of effort, my man. It's gonna take some effort. Bill Elsden is here. Nisi of the North, of course, our moderator from the North. How you doing? Chris versus Fish, what's up? One of our new patronizers, right in the chat early. Gabe W. This is what it sounds like when W's cry. Whoa. Right? Is that how that goes? Gabe W is here. Juan M. Ruiz, Heather Nielsen, how you doing? Mellow Moogle is here. 54 Punchy, what up? This is my first time being here before the stream starts. Oh, Heather's first time here being right in at the beginning. Right on. That's the way to get it. Let's see. Candy Overhauls is here. Sarah Konopko, what's up? That's like 2 days in a row. 2 days, 3 days in a row. That's awesome. Kevin Keener is here. Wushu Jimmy Brown, how you doing? Dank Tanks is here. Kyle Paith. Turbo Fish is just lurking around the corner. Wushu Jimmy Brown is Frank your Huckleberry. I would say I'm the Doc Holliday if I was anybody out of that movie. So if anybody was here for the early chat, remember joking about the what is that OK Corral movie? What is that? What is that? What's that OK Corral movie? Oh man, I'm losing it, you guys. Too much electrical, I'm telling you. I start losing it when there's just too much electrical going on. I'm trying to think of the movie. What? Oh. It's not The Unforgiven. I'm sure somebody will... Tombstone. Oh, there you go. Tombstone. Everybody's got it but me, but that's good. That's why we're all here, right? We need to team up and remember movies. Hey, you remember that movie with the guy in it? There's that guy with that movie in it, and he was in it. But I did get the cross-reference because I was doing the We're Inverted, right? So Val Kilmer's in both of those movies. He's in Top Gun and Tombstone, right? So that's like 2 steps to, making that make sense, right? But either way, let's get back to saying hi. DJ Pride is here. Phil Emerson with the 19er coming in hot. Bare Bottom Aquariums is here. Jay Aquatics, how you doing? BC Fish Room, what's happening? Cindy Lou Roman is here. What's up, Cindy? Sashimi Whiskey, Candy Overhauls, who I already said hi to, but I'll say hi again. Daryl Dimer, Aquatic Life MS. What's up? Second live stream. Great. Thanks for coming out, man. Let's see. Hi, Jay. How's it going? Jeffro is here. I went to hit the like button and someone hit the dislike button. Is today Opposites Day? No, we actually have some trolls around here that hit the dislike button, but joke's on them, because it counts the same as hitting the like button. I wonder if anybody knew that, but I'll share it. I'll share it here with the community. The troll's probably listening and gonna learn. Oh man, if you really want to troll somebody, you should watch the whole show and not hit the like button. That's how you should really do it, or hit the dislike button. Because that counts. As far as the algorithm's concerned, you're interacting. Michelle Angel is here. Thank you for all your knowledge and help. Glad to do what you do. Love catching you when I can. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. It's very appreciated. I don't really have any question to answer there, but thank you. Very appreciated. It's super awesome. Phil Emerson wants to squish the like button. I like it. Squish. Just casually squish the like button. Let's see who else is here today. Damon Potter, evening from the UK. Ooh, staying up late. KG Cichlids is working. Got a gotta go, but stopping to hit the like button. It's all good. Thank you very much. Solanjka, how do you say that? Solanjka 1. Well, how you doing? I don't know how to say your name. I don't know how to say your name correctly. Maybe you could spell it out phonetically or something. Let's see. I have a thigh grinder in my shop. Jeffro said you had me at Sump. Okay. What's up, General? What's a Sump? Ben Ireland is, in fact, here. Montresor, how's it going? James Nisham is here with the super chat. Thank you. Let's see. Mary Beth Mabe is here. How you doing? Making deviled eggs and stuff. That sounds good. Damon Potter, Douglas Medlin is here. Could donate saw to Habitat for Humanity. Yeah, if there's no specific person I'm going to donate that saw to, I will donate it to either the Habitat for Humanity or there's another one. There's a small one that's like Habitat for Humanity down here in Tacoma that I'll donate it to, which means I actually have a bunch of like automotive tools and stuff that I need to donate and have them all binned up. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably post something up on Facebook and go, hey man, if anybody local needs some of this stuff, post a couple pictures up. And then if there's somebody specific I can give it to, then that's cool. If not, I'll end up just doing the donation to those guys because I can just drive like 8 minutes or something like that and go drop it off. I have a bunch of just kind of excess tools and stuff that are just collecting dust. And I don't necessarily want to end up like my grandpa where he had just a giant shop full of tools that he probably hadn't really done too much to in a long time. But I do have some of my grandpa's old tools, and those will never get donated because those are just a piece of my heart, right? So those will never get going that way. Chris versus Fish is asking, have you ever built any Rubbermaid tote sumps? Yeah, I have built some out of some crazy Rubbermaid type containers and stuff like that. They never seem to fit under a stand properly, so that would be the first thing I would mention. But the other thing I would mention with that is they're great like holding sumps. So like maybe you want a big reserve area of water and you just want to pump up into something, or maybe you have like 30 so one of the systems I was looking at when I was up at the co-op for the plant unboxing thing was I was looking at their plant system there because they don't have any fish or anything in it. So it's all actually just looped. All of those tanks are all looped in because they're dosing all within the same system and stuff like that for all the plant care. That's a great opportunity for a Rubbermaid situation, is that, you know, maybe you're going to throw 2 of those that are like 200-gallon things, and they're just going to sit on the ground, and you know, they don't need to be aesthetically pleasing or hidden or anything like that. That comes in a great situation. Though the direction I go typically is an ICB container. I don't know if you've ever seen those before. They are a 330-gallon cage deal, and I have one here. I'm actually picking up 2 more for the pond system. So eventually you guys will see me actually plumbing some of those in. Not sure when that's going to happen because it's really going to be... It's going to be one of those days where I'm just really going to have to just dig with a shovel for like... Actually, it's not a day. It's probably going to be a couple... probably a week's worth of digging spread out over time. So it'll probably be like a day where I do a bunch of trenching and put stuff in, and then a couple weeks later I'll do something else and blah blah blah. So I don't have any kind of timeline on that stuff. So yes, I have done those things. They're really easy to work. Those Rubbermaid containers are actually really easy to work with because they're a pretty thin wall plastic that you can drill with just either a wood or a metal hole saw or a mixed use hole saw. I wouldn't use the metal, but I'd use the mixed use metal wood ones, the sort of in between size teeth hole saw. I don't think I have any here sitting on my desk at the moment. I often do, but I don't happen to have any right here. So they're really easy to put bulkheads in, and that would be another upside to those too. Let's see. I would love to see your paint a picture of some exotic plecos. As far as I know, I'll be doing some clown. What am I thinking of? I'll be doing some plecos and stuff at some point in time. to answer that question or the statement. I will be doing some of that at some point in time. 54 Punchy, I have a heavily planted tank with some pygmy cories. I don't do anything special and have little cories show up all the time. Oh, what's that? Jay's Aquatics, have you ever raised cory cat eggs? Yes, it's very easy to raise cory cats, honestly, in my opinion. You just want to have some good mop areas where they can scatter their eggs, and then just make sure you don't have anything in there that's going to eat them. I haven't really had, I never really spotted the instance where the cories are actually eating each other's eggs or anything along that line. So, Montresaur is saying, tools, do tell. Yes, I do have a bunch of tools that will be getting donated or, passed on to somebody local, so... Yeah, yes, that will be happening. Hey, at least there's more protein at last night's binge of spaghetti and noodles and green beans. Oh, did a little spaghetti, noodles, and green beans splurge. Well, as long as you got the green beans in there, you won't be too bad. Barbara Jackson, old forge tools are the best. Yes, oftentimes they actually are until they shatter when you hit them too hard because you get a little overzealous. Stoner Kivo 420, what's the topic tonight? We're actually talking about Sumps, fan aquarium questions, and some hardscape stuff. So we are on a bit of a timeline here, so we will go to the video first, I think, is probably going to be the best way to go about this. And Jay's Aquatics was asking, can moss substitute for mop? Well, mop substitutes for moss, so... So, yeah, I think, yes, that would definitely work out. The moss would be the natural version of the mop. So, I know that I'm just kind of thinking back in my mind here. The last time I had cories, mine were spawning in a bunch of phoenix moss that I had that was kind of just growing all wonky in a kind of a breeding tank. Stoner Kivo is asking, is there any secrets in the aquarium community that are not talked about? Well, secrets are not supposed to be talked about, so I couldn't really answer that question. If I have any secrets, I'm not supposed to talk about secrets, right? I'm not supposed to talk about them because they're secrets? Isn't that how that works? I think that's how that works. Sorry about that, guys. I had to move the mic back to the right spot. There we go. So I think we'll, let's see, let's see here. I spent last night. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So we're going to run to the, video segment here first because, oh, whoops, what am I doing here? No, we're going to go to this first. There we go. Sorry, I had the wrong thing clicked on. Okay, so we're going to this portion first, and we're like, what am I doing? Am I queued up right? I think I'm fairly queued up right. So this is a bit of a follow-up on yesterday. So this is how the aquarium looked after. You remember how cloudy the tank was yesterday? I think the exposure is a little bit weird on here. But if you recall how the tank looked yesterday, after putting in all these rocks and moving stuff around, how cloudy it was, you could see how clear it is now. And it will be back that clear again tomorrow because guess who's in there making a big giant mess again today? Me. Which needed to be done. I needed to move some stuff around. I didn't like the flow of how things were going. So I wanted to just give you guys a follow-up on where the rocks were going, how the scape was coming along, and also how the tank looked following the next day. It's one of the big reasons that I often use sumps as opposed to other situations that a lot of people are in favor of as far as filtration goes. I used to use hang-on backs, then I upgraded to canister filters, and then I eventually upgraded to just sumping everything. And a sump is the tank that is underneath, for those of you out there that don't know, there's an overflow. It flows down into another aquarium down below. Then the water's all filtered, cleaned, blah, 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 and sent back up to the aquarium. There's a lot of advantages to sumps, and I think the most viewed video I've ever had, well, on the American market. Let's not talk about the Chinese market because that infuriates me. But that I've ever had in I guess we'll call it the American market, but the rest of the world, minus China, is about the advantages of sumps and stuff like that. I find it just to be so many advantages, and it's sort of just the evolution of, as far as me taking care of aquariums and stuff like that, the evolution of me taking care of aquariums. Like I said, I started with hang-on backs. And I forgot sponge filters. But at one point in time, I was doing a lot of sponge filter stuff also. Sponges, hang-on backs. Then I moved to canisters and stuff, and then I moved to sumps. So that's sort of the evolution of where I went. And this is one of the big reasons that I run a sump. When I get in here and make a gigantic mess like I did yesterday and like I did again today, this is one of the biggest advantages that I think is really important. This turnover rate is going to pull all this crap out of the water column again. And when I come back tomorrow morning, it will be crystal clear again. And so I know that personally in the past, it was something that would go, man, I don't really want to mess up my tank because it's going to be messed up for so many days and this and that and the other thing that maybe I'll just leave it because it's better looking now than it will be for the next couple of days. And it would put me off from doing the work and stuff like this sometimes just because I go like, I could put it off another day. But now there's no reason for me to put it off. But either way, that means that it got to get done today. Let's see here. Let me catch up with the chat as you guys have been chatting along here. I try to read it while I'm talking, but it's difficult. Montrosaurus has a sump question. How do you size the sump for the aquarium? Now, if it's a really small aquarium, so, if you're talking like a 40-gallon aquarium or something like that, a 20 long will work perfectly underneath like a 40 breeder, right? Anything bigger than that, I would normally just find the biggest sump that you can that will fit under the aquarium, like basically just within the cabinet. That's generally how I size them. It isn't really like, if it's 50 gallons, it's got to be 25 or anything like that. There isn't really math like that. That is like a necessary feature or anything along those lines. So, for instance, this aquarium right here is a 240-gallon, and the sump underneath it, I keep forgetting the actual size. I think it's 90-gallon. I think it's a 90-gallon that is under there. It might be a 100-gallon. So it's obviously less than half either way. Even if it's a 100-gallon, it's still less than half. So, but it's plenty of space and accommodation for all of the equipment that I need down below and stuff like that. So it definitely there isn't necessarily a math thing. It's just generally the way that I go is what's available and going to fit well underneath the cabinet. Obviously I guess not obviously, but generally speaking, the rule of thumb would be like the bigger the better. Just the bigger the better. It's going to add a lot of advantages to your system, the bigger that it can be. Let's see here. Mellow Moogle says, nice, it's super clear. Yes, it definitely does clear up quite quickly. Mary Beth's asking, quick update, how are Biddy Brown and Mr. Chips? Biddy Brown and Mr. Chips, the doggos, are doing fantastic. They're doing really well. I'm very happy. So I'm very happy that they're doing well. They're feeling well. Mr. Chips is running around like he's 5 again. So he seems to be doing pretty well. Little Largemouth, the first video of yours I watched was one from your Mohawk days when you introduced us to your freshwater sump. Full circle, that's right. I currently don't have a Mohawk, though the Mohawk is my longest standing hairstyle. Many, many years as a Mohawk. As a guy wearing a Mohawk, having a haircut of a Mohawk. How do we say that? Wearing a Mohawk. Having a Mohawk? Weird. odd. I have 7 years old. I have a 7-year-old son. His artistic loves the beginning and the end of your show a lot. Thanks a lot. Oh, right on. I love the young viewers out there. Thanks for coming out, all you youngsters. Manny Carolio, Manny Carolio is asking, what's my preferred nano-sized aquarium? My preferred nano size is the 12 by 12 by 12, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches. The 12-inch cube is my favorite preferred nano-size aquarium. Wyatt Ward is asking, or sponge filters in a sump. Yes, you can run sponge filters in a sump for sure. Let's see. Andrew L., how long does it usually take for Rapashi to set? I just made a small amount. I don't really stick mine in the fridge. It takes like maybe an hour or something like that. It's like Jell-O, you know, so once it cools down, it'll set. Let's see here. Let me... Thanks with those planting skills, though. Thank you very much. Time-tested, mother-approved. I have my CO2 and a timer. I hear it kick off, but every few days it sounds like it kicks off, but it keeps letting the gas out, and I have to turn the working pressure off. Any idea what it could be? Ella Gregory, your solenoid has gone bad. Which luckily and unluckily is more often than not a pain in the butt to find it, but it actually is generally the cheapest way, the cheapest thing to fix. Just the electronic solenoid is the piece that you're probably going to have to fix. Let's see here. All right, really? No mohawk? Couldn't tell. It's getting close. It's getting closer and closer to going back to being a mohawk. I don't know. I'm gonna have to make up my mind though. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's see. So we'll talk about sumps here in just a second. But I'm happy to say at least the Dragonstone in the 240 here is in a really good spot where has some nice placement. What I was looking for, it's starting to make some sense for sure. And I'm happy to say that I'm more pleased with the placement. And yet this always comes back to the same thing, the same reminder out there to you guys that patience, you know, and if you get it wrong, mess it up and just get in there and mess around with it and get it the way that you want it to be. Stoner Kivo, sorry, the media in the sumps vary from fish to fish or all works good with any kind of fish. If you're talking about the biological media that goes into the sump, generally speaking, it's all going to work the same from pretty much all breeds, kind of across the board. All across the board, which isn't... Is it confusing? I think it's less confusing because it's sort of like if you just get some good biomedia in there, it's really not... It's going to do what it's going to do, which is just kind of give more space for the bacteria and stuff to grow on, and to have just kind of a place to be. So I wouldn't say that there's really a huge difference, like for specificity as far as where things need to be. Ethan P. asked a question, is 30 nitrates too much for shrimp? I've been having a ton of issues in my planted 10-gallon with 4 endlers, 3 autocats, and a reticulated hillstream loach. Shrimp keep dying. Yes, 30 nitrates is too high. Do a water change, get below 20, stay below 20. 20 is kind of the sweet spot. That's where you want to be at. But 30 nitrates is too high. Yes, do a water change. Double check your tap water and make sure that you might need to pre-filter your tap water. That might be what's going on, Ethan. How many pounds of Dragonstone would you recommend for a 90-gallon standard footprint? Thank you kindly. P.S. I hate my last name too. Oh, I don't hate your last name. It's just I have to get better at saying it. Carolio, right? Is that better? I think I got it. Carolio. I think that's better. So how many pounds of Dragonstone for a 90? I would say with a 90, you're definitely looking at least 30 pounds, somewhere around there, 30, maybe even 40 pounds. It adds up pretty quick. Luckily, the Dragonstone has a lot of voids inside of it, so it actually is a little bit bigger per weight, per pound. So you might be able to get away with like 30 pounds, 20 pounds, and still make a good scape. The slightly cheaper route to go would be like if you got like 20 pounds or 15 pounds, add a little extra substrate, kind of build them up that way. I would definitely go that way. Kevin Keener's got to go. Have a great stream. And be one of the cool kids and check out the Patreon. Yes, check out the Patreon for sure. I guess we're 35 minutes in here. We should probably do a Patreon plug. And the Aquarium Co-op plug real quick because Candy Overhauls posted it in there. One of our big sponsors and collaborators is Corey from the Aquarium Co-op. If you haven't checked out Aquarium Co-op, that's actually where this Dragonstone came from. Literally from there, I went there and got it myself. I didn't have it shipped, but they do a Dragonstone box that's like fit to ship. It's like if it fits, it ships, right? And they'll pack a bunch of stones in there for you. You could even contact them and kind of figure out what you're trying to get done. And they can definitely help you out with like selection and that kind of stuff. But check out aquariumcoop.com and check out your plants. Check out their plants while you're there, because plants and fertilizers and all that kind of stuff. But if you are going to order, remember it is in the United States. So people in Canada, the UK, and stuff like that, it's just not available for you yet. So, but check it out. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen his aquarium channel. If you haven't seen his aquarium channel, we also do a podcast, which is called The Real Fish Talk. So download the podcast and check that out. I think let's see here. I think Barbara Jackson was saying was just recently listening to the Shell Dweller podcast that we do. There's a couple more hours of stuff that you could listen to on your headphones while you're off at the gym, like getting ripped, getting wrecked, getting swole, getting some hashtag gains, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of stuff. Or at work when you're really bored and you don't want to listen to REO Speedwagon anymore. You could throw the headphones in and listen to us talk about fish stuff, and you can think about what you're going to do once you get out of that cubicle. Or maybe you have an aquarium in your cubicle. I've seen that before. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. Try to catch up. Aquarium Co-op has the shirts back in stock. Remember to put a free bottle of Easy Green in the notes when you buy a t-shirt. Oh, that's right. Yeah, don't forget that. What would be your must-have medias in a salt and freshwater sump? We'll get to that in just a little bit, because we're going to go over to the fan question portion, right, from Ben, which is he's got a fantastic email here, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it, you guys. I'm not going to copy and paste the email here, but we do have the sump design that he drew out, which is quite good, honestly. So it's very appreciated, and we're going to kind of dedicate the last 20 minutes of the show here to kind of ramble on about this. And, of course, the whitebird feature is going to be coming out. We're going to break out the whitebird feature, right? Ethan P., any advice on how to do a water change without disturbing all the plants? Get a sump. Makes it super easy. I don't even have to turn off my aquarium. I don't even have to turn off my return pumps or anything like that. But if you don't have a sump like I do or anything like that, you can actually just dial down the return that's coming back into the tank. You can also stick something into the tank. What I used to use is I would break down a grocery store, like a paper bag from the grocery store, and stick that in there. So once I was returning water, I would just point it right at the grocery bag, and that would stop from sending everything all over the place. That's the way I used to do it. And grocery bags used to be free. They're not free anymore. So Maybe you have to do newspaper or something like that. Or maybe you got some butcher paper around. Nowadays, I actually have rolls of the butcher paper, which actually that's probably what I would use. But I use it for doing painting jobs, like painting people's houses and stuff like that. So I almost always have that stuff around. Let's see. All right. So we've gone through the video twice. Now we go on to the fan question part, which I have to click the buttons over here. And then we go like this. All right. So this is basically the PDF file from Ben Ireland, who is asking a lot of great questions here, and we're going to run through them real quick. I didn't want to copy and paste his email on there into the thing, but you guys can first take a look and check out what's going on here with a bit of the drawing there. So this is his plan. This is his initial plan, and then I'll do some drawing on it here as we try to figure out what's going on. The first section is emerged drip tray filtration, consisting of 3 trays. PuroClean is going to be the top one, which that PuroClean filter says from your YouTube videos. Awesome, by the way. Yes, it works out quite well. I use it on a regular basis, and it definitely is bang for the buck. That's for sure. Get the big old rolls of it and cut them up. That's what I do. Tray 2 and 3 are filled with plastic bio balls from the aquarium coop. They are removable for easy cleaning, so that's going to be... All right, hold on. I need to activate the whiteboard, you guys. So drip tray 1... Wait, what's happening? Oh, I got to move the whiteboard up. There we go. So this... Oh, you guys, I should have changed the color ahead of time. Here we go. Let's go bright red and clear the whiteboard. All right. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So this first tray right here at the top is going to be his filter floss, right? Which is the PuroClean brand. Then tray 2 and 3 filled with plastic bio balls, which is going to be this one right here is 2, and this one right here is 3, right? 2. Okay. Then... So let's talk about this first section right here, which is this little part up here at the top. So this is his little tray section that actually is going to be above the water line. And so that the first problem that is here, and it may or may not be a problem, because we'll talk about why the first problem might be a problem. So this filter floss area is going to need a bypass, okay? So what I would typically do is I would actually put the filter floss somewhere where if it gets completely clogged up, you won't have any kind of crazy overflow heading out of the sump, basically. So if this whole pad, that whole pad right here, gets filled up with gunk, then you the last thing you want is this water overflowing out of your sump. So unless you make a bypass here, which is essentially kind of problematic realistically, I would put my filter floss either right down here, which is going to be difficult to access unless you add a kind of a door from the side or something, some way to get it out. I would either put it right there, or I would even go as far as putting the filter floss right here or right here, so that if it does clog up, it will still be able to roll over this baffle right there. Okay, so that's kind of the first thing, but that's just kind of change gears a little bit and make a drip tray that goes right here that just has holes in it. All right. So these bio balls up here, why would you want them elevated above the sump? That's for the oxygenation factor, right? So Corey and I went into this, and I'm not going to go super in depth into the bacteria stuff, but you basically want 2 types of bacteria growing in your aquarium. You want anaerobic and aerobic. So this is going to be the aerobic bacteria area where oxygen is much higher up, and then down here would be the aerobic bacteria area. Now you want both. The one I promote is aerobic versus anaerobic. This is the anaerobic down here. Let me clear the whiteboard here real quick. All right, anaerobic, aerobic, right? The one that I promote is aerobic. It's just it's a little more happier situation as far as that bacteria growing for the freshwater type of critters that we like to keep. So, but the reason for these 2 areas, this one and this one, is that you want to promote both bacteria. So this is actually going to work pretty darn well. Now, so moving on to the next portion here, he's got some overflows going on. And we're basically going to kind of skip past the fluidized filtration, which is the K1 area, which should work out just fine, honestly. Because he's saying here that he's going to add media in that biomedia. He's going to add 2 bubblers. Might have to do testing to see about the bubblers and water flow to see if the media actually can move around properly. That's right. So this is going to have to, this area right here is going to have to be adjusted in regards to any of the oxygenation or any of that kind of stuff that you're going to put in there as far as the bubblers or a power head or anything along those lines. So it's going to take a little while and probably too difficult to just explain in words of how that kind of stuff is going to get adjusted. But you're basically right on track. Third section is submerged filtration. Consists of 2 course black sponge material and beginning and end for an egg crate area that supports bags of biomedia. So this is sort of overkill in this area right here. With the bags of biomedia, the egg crate, the PuroClean, I would end up going with the PuroClean here, and then the bags of biomedia. It feels like overkill, but that's the direction that you want to go. That's the direction that you want to go. And if you have the availability to do all of these parts, this is essentially what you want to do. Now, one of the problems here is how these baffles are going to work with these black sponges that are proposed right here and right here. So instead of using a black sponge here, I would actually just, personally, I would end up just using the PuroClean right here and just leave this open so that you can have flow coming through unobstructed, right? Because any of the detritus that gets caught up in this biomedia and stuff like that is super easy to clear out, but you will definitely need some filter floss within here when you go ahead to do that. And in my experience, cleaning the biomedia once every 6 months by shaking it out, you don't even have to take it out of the tank, you just shake it with your hand. So if you were going to change the filter floss from this baffle right here, you do that right before you basically shake these bags out right here and wait like 5 minutes, change your filter floss out, and you're going to be ready to go. This 4th chamber right here, which is this is the thing that gets left off by so many people, and that's a growing area for basically his extra plants and stuff like that. But the one thing that I would change is I would not put EcoComplete, and I would certainly not put sand here, because, and let me explain why. So we clean the water here, 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 and then we're going to put sand and EcoComplete in the last chamber, which will end up going into the pump and back up into the display. Not a great idea, but I do have an answer for this. that will actually work out pretty well. You're going to have to find yourself some aquaponic media, essentially. It's like the substrate that you run into when you see aquaponics, and they're going to be like these little. I mean, they look like. What am I thinking here? In my head, I was thinking Captain Crunch, but it's not Captain Crunch. It's those Cocoa Puffs. It looks like Cocoa Puffs is what it looks like. That's the material that you're going to want to put in here in this last chamber in order to they don't have any kind of dust or anything like that, so if they're rattling around in there and stuff like that, you won't send a whole bunch of sand into your super expensive return pump, right? Where I know that return pumps have been getting cheaper and cheaper over the years for sure, but they're still expensive. I mean, if you're talking about an $80 pump, if you're talking about like an $80 pump, it's still $80. It's just kind of thrown out the window because you got a bunch of sand and stuff thrown through it, and it will end up in your display, back up into your display, probably where you don't want it to be. So. But this is a great design altogether, realistically. A few small changes to make, I think personally, just from my experience of messing around with sumps for such a long time. And some of it is kind of overkill, realistically, because you could actually even just use the bio balls as your K1 media and just mix them both together. If you like, you could dial down this drip tray up here and do your filter floss just in this whole chamber right here, so that you actually have you can actually set it up with a baffle right here, so that if it does ever clog up, it'll actually just roll over the baffle and then go back down like that. So depending on space and how much you have to invest into the situation, there are a few things that you could eliminate. There are a few things that you could put together if you need to save a couple of bucks or anything along those lines. And that's it, but you're definitely right on track, that's for sure. One of the questions that you had was 3 or 4 rows right here of 7/16 inch holes. Personally, I would actually go with a little bit bigger holes, personally, and do less. Is what I would do for this area right here. As far as that question that you had there for that, definitely go with bigger holes where the baffles, if you're going from here to there, right? Definitely go with bigger holes if you can. 7/16 is a little bit small. I would go like a 3/4 inch hole, something like that. Much easier to drill and less chance of cracking or anything like that, because you can space them apart a little bit further when you go to drill your acrylic or whatever you're going to use for the baffles. But this is a fantastic layout, and I think you're pretty much right on track here, Ben. So I think there's a few spots where you could for sure, a little bit of savings and make it a little bit easier on yourself. But other than that, this looks to be pretty much, if you were to make a snazzy layout, this is pretty much where you'd want to go. This looks to be right on track. Let's see. Fish and Shrimp by Rich is asking what plant in tank in the background. I'm guessing on the 240 would be my guess. I don't know what's in the background on there. Honestly, off the top of my head right now, don't know. Sashimi Whiskey says, Monday, I have found a new name, Mary. Oh, Swashimi Whiskey has found a new name. Oh, he was talking about that on his live stream last night. Awesome, can't wait to see what it is. I was in Iowa this summer. Pretty state. Sweet fan diagram. It's a perfect diagram. I think it's pretty much right on track. Stoner Kivo saying, and my wife asking if you can say my boy's name before the end of the show. His name is Braden. Braden and Caleb are 2 young subscribers, listeners, fans, community, Fish Fam children's, Fish Fam offspring, Caleb and Braden. We've got 2 of them. Which is awesome. That's badass. They're going to grow up to be super fish tankery tankers, you know, and they're going to make me all super jealous when I'm all old and just laying on the ground. And then I'll get to watch their live streams and I'll just lay down and, you know, get to relax and be old, you know, because I know that whether I like it or not, this gray hair means something's happening to me, and I think that means I'm slowly deteriorating down into old age. All right, guys, we've got... How do we have... What's up with the timer today? The timer's all screwed up. All right. Well, we've got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to try and answer, what is this, lightning round. We've got the lightning round here in the last 4 to 5 minutes, whatever that is. So let me check out what's going on in the chat and see if we can't answer a couple questions. Sashimi Whiskey will go live after me. We can hang out and talk more. Oh, nice. Let's see. It's no disrespect, Swashimi, but I'll bug you and I'll blow up your chat again. Let's see. What if you have the filter floss layer a little lower so there's a lip above it? Yeah, that's basically what you could do with that filter floss, like I was saying. So that first chamber to the second chamber, it might you might just eliminate the bio balls from the first chamber so that you have enough leeway, right, so that you can have basically an emergency overflow if something was to happen like that. You could always do one from the side, which I've done before plenty of times. You have a bulkhead and a pipe. Pretty easy to plumb, just as long as it's going down where you want the water to go to. It doesn't mean anything. Jim Meeker, little terracotta balls. Yes, they're essentially like little terracotta balls. Yeah, very small clay ball from Bracken. Very small clay balls about the size of most ball cereals. That's what I was saying. It looks like Cocoa Puffs, right? They're called Hydroton. That is right, Rurutu. It's called Hydroton. Yep, HC Aqua for sure. Brown little clay balls. Is that the one? Yep. Lava Rock is great too. I'm not a huge fan of Lava Rock personally, just because of how much stuff gets caught up in it. It's just not the greatest thing. I'm not a huge fan of the Lava Rock. I love Lava Rock like outside in displays and stuff like that, but I never like it underwater, realistically. And it's a super pain in the buns to clean, because anytime you try to brush it off with something, it always grabs and snags and leaves all these like hairs from, like, say if you use like a filter floss or something to try and brush it off, then it leaves all the filter floss hairs, or a brush or a paintbrush or anything like that. It just snags anything that's going by it. So I just don't like Lava Rock personally, but outside it's great. It's totally useful. Hydroton is brownish little clay balls that allow lots of aeration. Yes, they do. I'll actually be installing some fairly soon in both of my sumps. It's just keeps getting moved back on the to-do list because more important things. But yeah, I was saying 7/16 holes because K1 media is about half of an inch. That's a good point, but I would rather space the holes and use like a piece of egg crate just to cover up that area if you don't want them to be going from one area to the next. Just as far as the flow goes and the actual drilling, I've been down that road too many times where I've been drilling acrylic, drilling holes, drilling holes, drilling holes, drilling holes, drilling holes, drilling holes. 20 holes in, crap. And it's a depressing day when you realize that you're wearing out your drill bit and you're wearing out your arm and your muscles and your patience, and you've got acrylic dust everywhere, and you cracked it. So I would personally, I would just go with some bigger holes, allow the flow to work, and if I needed to put a little doodly boop in the way to keep the media from going through, that feels like less of an opportunity for a bad result, if that makes sense. Low return flow to maximize water's contact with bacteria from Brian. Nope. full speed, man. Full speed ahead. No real reason. The bacteria don't mind flow. They don't mind flow. How much do you commission the shrimp painting for? Depends on the shrimp painting, Dank Tanks. Corvus, do you suggest buying a complete CO2 setup or buying everything for CO2 individually? As far as solenoid, regulator, all that stuff, buying a kit is much more effective. It's much more effective to go that route. It's going to save money. You can get a higher quality one. So like, let's say your budget was $150. If you try to buy each part individually, you're not going to come up with as nice as a $150 setup would be from a company with probably a warranty. The mighty Wisassin, can you explain how to keep live rock rolling for an extended amount of time? Yes, I've done that many times myself. Your best bet is keep your reef lights and keep some garbage cans. Fill up your garbage cans with salt water. And run your lights on a timer and some power heads in the garbage cans, and it will be fine and dandy like sour candy, because once every 2 weeks or something like that, you come and fill it back up with roadie water, and it will hold up for a very long time. You just need flow, not crazy temperature, but you need a little bit warmer temperature than like a cold garage or something like that, and some light, and your live rock will stay live. Gone Mad coming up last to the chat. Congratulations, Gone Mad. You win the prize of being in the chat. I like it. But as far as the mighty Wisassin goes, with the cured live rock and all that kind of stuff, I've always done it in big garbage cans. If you're curing live rock, beware of the funky Funkerton smelly McSmellerton. It can become a very stinky thingy majigger kind of situation. So keep that in mind, that it will become stinky. So don't try to do it in your living room or anything like that, because you can have a stinky situation. And DJ Pride with the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Right here at the end. Great show. Happy holidays. Actually, I had 3 super chatters today, you guys. Thank you very much. James Nisham, Michelle Angel, and DJ Pride. Thanks a lot, guys. And we also had some new patronizers today that weren't in the video stream. That weren't in the video streaming because they're new. They're new to the jams. What happened here? We got some likes. Oh, here we go. Bracken Ward upping his patronization. How's that? Bracken Ward during the show upping his patronization. Thank you very much. From $24.99 to $26. Hey, I like it. Thank you very much, Bracken. Bracken, one of our big supporters here. Definitely appreciated. Those of you that have been thinking like, man, maybe I should become a Patreon guy, there's only day left, basically. There's 1 day left in the month before you get charged. So if you're ever thinking, hey, I wanted to chip this guy $1 or $5 or whatever, maybe you're Paul Allen and you're thinking, I got to throw this dude $20 million and see what happens. You could do that too if you want, but you only got 1 day left, so get it signed up. It only takes a couple of minutes. It's really not that big of an ordeal. Patreon is a great site. They don't sell your information off or any of that kind of stuff. So, I wouldn't be super stressed about that, getting a bunch of spam emails or any of that kind of nonsense. I mean, hell, I'm a patronizer. I should be getting spam emails from them, and I don't even get any of that kind of stuff. So it does take a couple minutes to sign up for it. I get it. I know. But thank you very much to everybody out there that's patronizing, and it's pretty spectacular because, you know, have you just gone back like a couple months ago and said, hey, there'll be 129 people patronizing the stuff that you make, and I would have been like, man, you're tripping. There's just no way. There's no way there's 129 people. So it's pretty astounding to me, and I'm pretty excited. So I'd also give a shout out to I think it was Braden and Caleb. How you guys doing? And Turbofish, wherever you're at, I hope you're having a mucho fantastico day today compared to yesterday, and I'll probably blow up your messenger here in a minute. As a quick note, the Sashimi Whiskey channel will be going live. I'm not sure at what time, but he said after this, so I'm thinking probably 5:15 or 5:30. So if you guys are interested in more streaming action, let me answer some quick questions here real quick. You guys are keeping me on here. Jay's Aquatics is asking, Corvus, will you be attending the aquatic experience again next year? It will actually be in New Jersey. My plan is to attend, but honestly, if I can't go if we can't afford to do it. It did end up costing a fair bit of money, even though I got to stay with Eric and Iris, so I didn't have to pay for a hotel, which was awesome, and they were totally cool about buying me some biscuits and gravy, which was dope. Their hospitality was immense, but it still ended up costing quite a bit of money. Oh, not the AE, the American Cichlid Association Convention. When is that one? American Cichlid. Oh, hold on. Convention. Oh, the ACA. Okay, let me check this out here. When is it? List of conventions. Hold on, let's go back here. Where is it? Load. All right. Looks like it's in Houston, Texas next year. I wish it was in Louisville, if it was in Louisville like in 2014. So looks like it's in Houston, Texas. I don't really know too much about Houston, except I've flown in and out of there a bunch of times. So I don't know. It looks like it's July 4th to the 8th. Okay. It's possible. It is possible. Honestly, with stuff like the Patreon and stuff like that, that's where that money and stuff goes. People wonder where that money goes. It buys new equipment. It pays for the internet. It pays to keep the lights on and stuff like that. So that's where that money. People go like, oh, why are you always trying to get money on the Patreon? Because it goes out to doing more show production and stuff. Hopefully, it gets to the point where I just go, yeah, let's book that thing and I'll be there. Right now, we're getting there. But it's still amazing, and we're getting there. But we've gone way over for today, so hopefully everyone has a fantastic night out there. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and so be sure to tune in for that. Famous Jones says, don't have to sell our info with all this hacking going on. I patronize 4 different people for the great info they provide, including you. Thank you very much, Famous Jones. I appreciate it. And, yeah, it's true. I bet Facebook's already hacked everybody already. So, Chris vs. Fish says there are really awesome aquarium stores and such you could check out in Houston. There's a lot of cool fish stuff going on in Houston. I would love to go. Michael Faulkner says, are these live videos made into podcasts anywhere? I work in a restaurant, so I'm always working. I would love to turn these into podcasts. It just really comes down to ripping the audio down from the YouTube stuff and then uploading it on all these sites, which is just turning into a bit of a project that seems insurmountable at this point. Probably because I'm going about it looking at the whole entire thing when I should probably just start doing one at a time. But those talks are in the works right now of uploading this as a podcast. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, Cute Nix was here with the super chat saying thanks for the show. Well, you're very welcome. And by the way, Cute Nix is the one that sent us the monitor that works for this show. So if anybody was so inclined, people have asked me, like, where's the Amazon link and stuff like that. There's an Amazon wish list on the Patreon page there. And so, that's how it goes. But yes, we shall continue to forge forward. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic Wednesday. Tomorrow's the extended show for Steven Scoglin. He extends the show with his Patreonage. He extends the Thursday show because he's not here for the Wednesday show. And I'm not sure what's going on behind me, but I'm going to go figure it out. It's just noises going on back there. All right, guys. Later. What are you doing, dog? What is it, Mr. Duty? Mr. Chipper Duty.